Well, hi everyone. Welcome back to the channel. This is so exciting because PC gaming just got more accessible. Valve has officially released the Steam machine. Now, listen, it is not released, I should say revealed, that is my fault, but it is going to be early 2026 and it is November 12th, 2025 at the time of recording this. We finally have all the software and the hardware bits to make the original vision a reality. So it seems like they got the handheld. Now they want to enter the console wars, which is super exciting because with the way Xbox is being very weird about the marketing of like this is an Xbox where it's very clearly a Windows machine and is an entirely different division in Microsoft, Valve is actually going to represent PC gaming here. Now, it is SteamOS powered for those who aren't very familiar with operating systems. Um, which I do not blame console players because the whole time they're just running whatever comes with their console. SteamOS is basically a version of Linux. So there's Macintosh, Windows, and Linux. Macintosh is Apple. I don't know a whole lot about it. Windows is Microsoft. This is an Xbox crap, you know? And then Linux, you can do really whatever you want. Think of it as like your own operating system, but you're not bogged down by any firewalls. You can install whatever you want. You have full control over your machine, none of this administrator access. If you wanted to delete your system files, you could do that. I don't know why you would want to, but you have full control. So apparently, it is 6 times faster than a Steam Deck, which I would expect nothing less. It is a console, it can have fans, there's better heat control, airflow, it's overall better. I believe this is the Steam, excuse me. Yeah, so this is the Steam machine. I believe that is regular USB ports. Is that a micro SD? I don't know what that port is off of first glance, but we shall see. Powered by Valve and SteamOS, or built by Valve. Steam Machine is making a compact gaming PC, one trying to make good on a promise Valve made a long time ago. Oh, wow. So apparently this has been in development since 2013, which I have never been aware of. 2013, I was still in school. I graduated high school and college. It's a Linux-based operating system, which the reason why, for those who do not know, the reason why it is important that it uses its own OS and not Windows is because of a term called bloatware. Bloatware is basically where there's a bunch of shit on your PC for no reason. Like, do you know that a lot of Windows users have Candy Crush installed on their machine and they don't even know it? You can uninstall it, but you have to know how. And you have to know what's on your system in the first place to uninstall it. Find Candy Crush on your machine and tell me if you have it installed. And then there's a bunch of like calendars and timers and shit. Over time, all those processes on your CPU, it will bog down your machine. And that's why the Windows 11 requirements were stupidly high, especially when it comes to beta. It wasn't because of optimization. I mean, yeah, that too. But it was mostly for all the bloatware they started putting on your machines in Windows 8. I would know that because I was there. Apparently, apparently it was due by 2018, but they never stopped working on it. So it seems like they pulled the plug on public knowledge. That's what it seems like to me, because I do not think they would never stop. They're a very secretive company. They're a private company, so they don't have to answer to the godforsaken stockholders, all right? You know my opinion on that. Valve feels ready to take a second put at a system with more firepower. Beautiful job. Okay, the specs have been released. Not the price, though. That's fine. I want to see... Okay, the front I.O. That was a micro SD card slot. Okay. So, what you'll be able to do with your micro SDs, I'm unaware, but maybe Obviously, you'll be able to import stuff that way, have your own photos. I don't know if it's customizable in terms of like having your photos shown, but I'm excited to see what that does. USB 3 Type A in the front. Okay. Sorry about that. 2 gigabytes Type A. Whoa. Blah, blah, blah. 2 USB Type A's. 1 Type C, which is 10 gigabytes per second. The higher number, the better when it comes to this stuff. And then an Ethernet with 1 gigabyte per second. I wish the Ethernet was higher, specifically for online games, especially if this is a multitask system where it installs games and you can play a game at the same time. But knowing Valve, they'll probably have it so one is limited to how much. So 1 gigabyte per second. The fact that the Type-C is holding up more than the Ethernet, you know what? What is the Wi-Fi? Okay, we have a Wi-Fi 6, which... Oh, 6E, sorry. So, I believe we're on Wi-Fi 7, but to be perfectly honest with you, for video games, you won't be able to tell the difference. There's Bluetooth on it, God bless. Because, oh my god, compute units are 28. So, there are 2 storage options. It seems like they have finally gotten rid of the budget gigabyte version. You either have 2 terabytes or 512 gigabytes. I agree with these because I can't tell you one game that isn't like Among Us that is not a few gigabytes big. Like 512 gigabytes, that's maybe Red Dead Redemption and GTA. So for those who want to get into PC gaming but can't afford a PC and you're looking into the Steam machine, the 2 terabyte version, if you have the money for it, that might work out. However, the micro SD card slot, call me crazy, if you can like insert more storage into it, which I'm sure you can, because Steam, they're very open as to what you can do. That's why it's Linux based. You can do whatever you want, right? You probably will find a way to get more storage, but once again, to be determined, to be announced, okay? A semi-custom AMD RDNA 3 with 8 gigabytes of VRAM. 8 gigabytes is good. I currently have 12 in my machine, but I have a 3060. I try to make it as future-proof as possible. However, it'll work with 8 gigabytes. 16 gigabytes of regular RAM, which is the sweet spot for gaming. I only have 32 because I stream and I play video games and I edit and I do basically everything you can do with the machine. I do. So that's why I have 32, but you don't need it. So 16 is a very, very good jumping off point. 6 cores, 12 threads. 6 is a good amount, especially when it comes to video games. You really won't see a performance dip when it comes to this. This is like... Okay. As for the semi-custom GPU, I don't know. I can't speak on that. But everything else, it looks pretty good. They will probably come out with pros, and they will put Xbox under, and they will probably join the console... the console wars, I'm sure. Whatever's left of that. Then Nintendo's in their own league. Xbox gave up, and PlayStation's actually releasing a lot of compatibility for Xbox, as well as releasing a lot of their exclusives to PC. So once again, Steam has the upper hand of having PlayStation exclusives. You'll probably be able to get the Xbox launcher on the Steam machine. I'm not going to tell you how or if it'll come out, but I would bet money. All right. It's very, very hefty. And I agree with this. The smaller gigabyte version should be a decent amount cheaper. Think of that one as like the Xbox Series S, but you're not bogging down your performance. It's just the storage. Now, granted, if you do plug in a hard drive on a USB, I do not know how it'll respond to it. I don't see why it wouldn't recognize the hard drive. But then again, I've never experienced SteamOS. If you have, please let me know the performance on it. I've heard it's very, very good for performance. However, how is it to use and to hold? That's what I want to know. I also really want to see, um, is it, well, it would have to be an HDMI, but because it is technically still under the PC thing, I'm wondering if Valve will include a display port for capture cards or monitors, just for a little bit more, what's the word, compatibility features. I'm curious to see what they do for that. I don't see anything in regards of the front IO. Okay, I'm stupid. It says HDMI 2.0 and a display port. Okay, I was stupid. I'm blind. I don't have my contacts in because my water shut off. So I'm glad I know. I'm glad I know Valve well enough that they included a display port and an HDMI. So God forbid something happens to one port, you have another. That's my problem with consoles. They don't have a display port. So thank you, Valve. As for here, we don't know the pricing yet, but with older mid-range components, oh, that's crazy. Mid-range components. I mean, call me crazy, but isn't this on par? 8 cores, DDR6. We don't even know if it's DDR4, 5, or 6. Why are you calling it mid-range? That's crazy. 8 cores. This one's 6. Let's see if this website actually fucking works. My god. Yeah, showing off, blah, blah, blah. Show me the specs, please. They're really trying to convince you they have fucking exclusives. Holy shit. Okay. Let's do this side by side here. Where are you? Okay. Accessory, I don't care. 16 gigabytes, 16 gigabytes. Memory bandwidth. Unfortunately, we don't have that. IO, 2x4 gigabytes. Compressed with custom hard. Okay. I don't even know what ports they have. Okay, 12 gigabytes. See, well, it's a model higher than the Xbox. You see Rhino 2 and Rhino 3 semi-custom, and this one's like fully custom. 8 cores. Where's the video graphics? There it is. Why aren't they showing the RAM? Okay. See, here's what I mean. The Ethernet does seem very disappointing to me. Especially because an Ethernet connection will always be better than a Wi-Fi connection because it is stable. 1 gigabyte for me wouldn't be plausible with all the rendering, the uploading. That's just not plausible to me. But for video games, I mean, I guess. I haven't ran a 1 gigabyte Ethernet ever because I just now got it, which, another story for another time. 3 USB ports, 3.1. This actually includes a Type-C. Now listen, 2.0 Type A. A USB is a USB, all right? You're probably going to use the Type-C anyway when it comes to your controller, but then you'd have the wire out the back and it'd be a mess. But let's keep it a buck. You're probably using the Bluetooth. So unless you're plugging something into something with it, which I can't say on stream, you're probably not going to use it if you're just a regular consumer. Okay, the dimensions, I don't don't get into me about physical stuff. I want to know what uses electricity. Okay, 10 gigabytes, 6 gigabytes. I can't find the VRAM on here. No mention of VRAM anywhere. So I don't know what that is in the GPU. I don't even know. What the fuck is a T-flop? Oh, is this the core and these are the threads? I'm gonna be honest, when it comes to Xbox, they try to use the weirdest wording of all time just to throw you off and make you pay more than what you actually should. You didn't hear that from me. Who said that? Who said that? Oh my god, that's horrible. So, is it mid-range? Sure. But they're putting power where it actually matters for gaming, and guess what? That's in the GPU. The only time the CPU really matters is maybe downloading. But then again, we don't have much word on what type of storage it is. So there is a ton of different types of storage. There's a hard disk drive. That's exactly what you think it is. It's a little disk and it goes around. Then you have a hybrid, which is very rare, but there's little memory sticks, and then there's a disk. If you do something repeatedly, it goes on the memory. If you don't, or it's too big, it goes on the disk. No one uses that. Then you have a SATA SSD. It goes through a SATA port, goes in a little tray, fully memory ran. Then you have an NVMe SSD. It literally looks like a stick of gum. It's so thin. Sometimes they have their own casing and thermal paste, so it's nice and cool. It goes directly into your motherboard. Therefore, it is the fastest type currently of storage or SSD out there because it doesn't have to go through a wire. It's directly into your motherboard. We do not know any of that. So we have no idea on the speed of it. The Wi-Fi 6 2x2, pretty good, especially if it's for gaming. And it seems like a budget-friendly Steam Deck. And see, this is the biggest part for me, okay? Xbox, I don't care. That's a video that's already out. Go watch it. Anyway. Oh, where'd she go? Hello? There we go. Smaller 5 gigabytes should be a decent amount. There is a big gap in the market for genuinely affordable gaming PC, and I'm hoping this is the machine to plug in. I agree. It is the perfect budget computer for everyone that's like, I want a PC, but I can't afford it. So you buy a PlayStation or an Xbox instead. This is the machine that a lot of people have been hoping for. Now, as you can see, they have a performance. Our benchmark has always been that it should be enough performance to run every game on Steam at 4K 60 frames per second when you do some sort of upscaling. That's a lofty goal. I had a chance to play Cyberpunk 2077 at 4K, FSLR enabled at Valve's HQ, and it ran pretty well on the plucky Steam machine. It was certainly playable. No significant frame drops during my brief time with it, but neither was it a totally fluid experience. I enjoyed a much smoother gameplay by switching it to 1080p, even with the upscaling technology available. The reason why Valve can get away with mid-scale performance hardware is because they're not shoving Windows crap down your throat. They don't have the entirety of Microsoft Office suite on your computer. I have Microsoft Teams on my machine. I only have it because of meetings. It's there. It's constantly running in the background, checking for messages. That's why I have better specs than the Steam machine. But I don't know if it'll ever truly give me the bang for my buck because of the Windows, say it with me, bloatware. We just learned of this, right? And by the way, playing Cyberpunk at 4K, with all the bugs in that game still, which I played and is on my members only YouTube, 480p is just fine. I could see why Valve is targeting setting its sights on 4K. With the popularity of 4K TVs for living rooms and monitors, let's be honest, people are probably going to buy a PC setup, and instead of the PC, they're going to put a Valve machine in it so they get the PC experience without paying the PC experience. That's what I would do, at least. Needless to say, this sets the bar pretty high for Valve's little machine. It's many times faster than the Steam Deck, over 6 times faster according to Valve, though the older handheld isn't the best point of comparison for the more modern discrete components. Compared to modern gaming PC, the Steam machine is fairly underpowered, quite literally only 200 watt power supply. For reference, I have 850. I don't know if they want us to overclock it. Probably not. SteamOS is also working to Valve's benefit for performance. I told you, bloatware. Thank you. Saw an increase as much as 32% in Cyberpunk 2077 compared to Windows 11. All right. While improvements have been less pronounced on powerful hardware, Valve's OS should reduce overheads and allow for higher frame rates than a comparable kit using Windows. Exactly. Oh. Oh, okay. So for those who are looking at this and they're like, what the fuck am I looking at? This is it without the case. You could see the micro SD, the two USBs. You can see this is actually the system they're using to avoid the heat. You would see this in PC builds where the CPU fan is outward because heat or metal is a heat conductor, specifically bronze. So you can see that in there. That's the Steam machine pretty much without all the pretty casings. Semi-custom GPU, nothing new for AMD. Similar solutions to the Steam Deck, Xbox, PlayStation, various handheld gaming PCs. I believe the Rockstrix also joined that. The last console that had an NVIDIA powered GPU, I think was the 360. Fact check me in the comments if that is wrong, but I remember it having one. CPU cannot be an exact match. Currently, anything offered in the Radeon 7000 series, which are the PC handhelds, the PC cards themselves. If you go to Best Buy, you'll probably see those. It gives us a pretty good idea. There's no desktop graphics card that's a close match for Steam machine. The RX 7400 has the same number of CUs, but a lower clock speed and a much lower power draw. So basically, there's no card to compare it to. It is semi-custom, and you will only really see one similar nowhere. Okay, which, yeah. No, the other point of comparison is the Radeon RX 7600M. First launched in 2023. It is a mobile GPU with 28 CU and a boost clock speed of 2.41 gigahertz, right on the money, but it only runs up to 90 watts. So it seems like they just kind of like, a little more headroom, sustained clocks on the semi-custom chip to make up the extra power draw. That makes sense as a gaming laptop with a slimmer heat sink and a smaller fan than the boxy Steam machine. Well, I'm sorry. You mean to tell me the Steam machine's boxy, but Xbox can look like that? Alright. The design's cool. I'm not hearing it. It's literally a box. It's the machine, bro. That is such a cool name for it. The Steam machine. If you'd like to read this, go for it. I don't care how it looks. If it works, that's cool. Because guess what? Computers are boxes. Consoles are boxes. Phones are also boxes. You'll never unsee it once I tell you that, so I'm so sorry. Oh, and here's where they talk about the heatsink, which is very, very important to computers that they don't overheat, because then you get an Xbox 360 situation with the red ring. Fun. Anyways, when we started putting a thermal architecture together that was the most efficient for performance, we found that, wow, that is really close to a cube. And so we're like, okay, it's so cute, close to a cube. Why don't we try to make it an actual cube? So we had to be really careful about every little millimeter inside to make sure we got the proper proportion to look like a cube. It's smaller than it looks, but it packs a lot in. This is a very, very compact build. Literally everything here, I want to say that's the GPU. There's the front IO, there's the back IO. That is all heatsink, I believe. The CPU has to be on there somewhere. The chips are there somewhere. They're literally this tiny. It'll be hard to find it unless someone cracks it open, which I'm sure someone on YouTube will do, and I will watch it because I'm fascinated by that stuff. Just me. So it kind of makes sense that they skimped out on the power supply. On top of the power supply sits the motherboard. Oh, okay. So there's probably one fan on the top, one on the bottom to make them different ecosystems so that the power supply doesn't blow into it, because that's stupid. The only time PC builders ever really do that is when their PC's on carpet, because then it could get clogged up and stop working, and then your house is on fire. Joking. But still, very important. We're using the power supply as the chassis for the system, which is something we're really proud of because it removes a lot of brackets and modules and simplifies the design really well. I have to agree, this is very clean. Because the motherboard and other electronics are sandwiched between two metal shells, you don't have to add components. Yeah? Okay, yeah, there's the fan at the top. Sits the motherboard, which is just visible underneath the heatsink. Oh, so that's the motherboard? Jesus Christ. Wow, they really just like... oh my god. The heatsink cools the CPU, the GPU, the memory, the power, all of it. So that is the heatsink for the entire thing. Wow. Attached to the 120 millimeter fan, the only one in the entire system. Okay, if you guys believe in it, okay. If it doesn't overheat, good for y'all. Y'all figured it out. I'm getting nervous. But you know what? In Valve, we believe. You want to make something that's really compact and really powerful that can easily fit in your living room. Thank you. I'm tired of these towers. It turned out to be more of a challenge than we thought because people love to cram their devices in the corner of their room or inside a cabinet. So one, it needed to fit. Two, it needed great airflow. Yes, that is the most important aspect of building a computer that no one really thinks of. It's like power surge protection and great airflow are some of the most important things that you need to know, and a lot of people just skip out on them, which is a real shame. So yes, big airflow fans over here. One of the things that are really important is that we wanted to use a single fan. I believe that is for noise, because you know how hair gets in fans and it like sounds horrible? Kind of the same thing. This is actually a custom fan design. A ton of different blades. Oh. Hey, I don't know anything about fans. We stood around the steam machine discussing what sits on the Cyberpunk 2077 title screen and can't make it out. Though what stands out most of all is how little I can hear the steam machine while it's running. Well, yeah, there's one fan. There's one fan. Oh, there's a little LED. You can make your own faceplate, mainly for removing the dust. Also, it's actually cleanable. Thank God. Can I be honest? The PlayStation 4 design sucked. I went to my uncle's. It was just caked in dust. All the crevices, they got dust. So I'm glad that this is cleanable. Oh, and you can see your usage. Heavy weapons guy. Oh, that's cute. You can change it to whatever. I think I would use this one as a little performer. That's what I mean. You can do whatever the hell you want with Linux. There are 4 antennae on the steam machine. 2 in the back, 2 in the front. Oh, right. Bluetooth and Wi-Fi, yeah. Try to find them though. Wow. They really cram this shit in. Faceplate's removable to help clean it. Is considering to how to oh yay, customization! There's a few prototypes in its office. A wood effect, Team Fortress 2. Yay! I want one of Spy, please. Or Sniper. I love Sniper. Sniper no swiping. One to include an e-ink display monitoring key metrics, though this is mostly a fun side project than something that'll end up on sale. Aww. Well, you know what, guys? It's either you guys put it on sale or someone on Etsy will make it for you. So if you want the money, I get on it. For now, it doesn't seem to have a definitive plan. It does have a light strip running around the front I/O. This can be adjusted to whatever color you want. Acts as a visual cue. Oh, so it's kind of like a hard drive indicator. That'd be a fun one to make sure it's actually loading. It can display how far a game has been progressed, alert you to messages, and so on. If you don't like it, you could turn it off. Hot damn. Once again, fully customization. Oh, okay. So we talked about this earlier, the M2 storage. It is an NVMe SSD, and it seems to be one of the later ones. The core parts that we're considering to be upgradable is, okay, the storage and the RAM. It looks like just a regular M2 slot, so like the mini ATX motherboard ones, which is very exciting and will bring a lot of traffic to mom and pop computer shops, which makes me very happy, and I love saying that. Mom and pop computer shops. That is such a fun saying. The steam machine only comes with a single NVMe, easily accessible from the underside of unit. Once again, 2 terabyte or 512 gigabytes. It will be 2 to 30 in size, which is a smaller SSD form factor, also used on the Steam Deck. It's a very compact thing. Does not support. Oh, including a standoff though. Oh, weird. Okay, maybe in the future. Oh, DIMM memory. Yeah, it's replaceable. It's valid that replacing the memory is a bit more involved compared to the NVMe. Yeah, because you have to make sure the clips go down and it'd probably be like a laptop where you push it in and then you put it down and then you have to make sure these two metal clips clip in. It's very easy to mess it up. You have to insert it on like a 45-degree-ish angle. It's a lot. If you haven't done it before, it's a lot of pressure. The Steam machine, I would expect this to run exactly like your Steam Deck. Yeah, it's the same experience. Shouldn't require verification like the Steam Deck or the newly announced Steam Frame, which exists to ease gamer into what is possible on the quirkier hardware and what's not. So the Steam Frame is basically the system requirements, which is pretty fun. So if you scroll down, if you're an avid video game researcher such as myself, if you scroll down to the description, it'll tell you what controller it's compatible on, if it requires third-party software, the hardware minimum requirements, and recommended ones, and sometimes even additional notes when it comes to like Bluetooth, things of that nature. Compatibility layer also allow games developed for Windows to be run on Linux. Oh yeah, the Proton. I believe that's a version of Linux. I'm not very familiar with it. I do want to learn. So let me know if there's anything I should know before getting into it. Though it has been tested, there are fewer unknowns, the secret sauce, blah blah blah. Availability. So US, Canada, yay Canadians, UK, Germany, France, Australia, Japan, South Korea, Taiwan, and Hong Kong. Valve had began shipping directly to Australia later than other countries. And Kimono, that will be distributed to Taiwan, Japan, South Korea, and Hong Kong. So, as for Australia having the little asterisk, that just means they began shipping directly to Australia later. So that'll be a separate release. Thank you guys so much for watching and sitting through the whole 30-minute ramble. If you guys are curious on more hardware stuff, if there's anything I could have explained better, please let me know. I'll be on it ASAP. Thank you guys so much for watching. Will you be picking up a Steam machine? I feel like I already have a Steam machine. But will you? Will you transfer over from Xbox or PlayStation or whatever you game on, a Switch 2? Let me know down in the comment section down below, and I will see you guys in the next one. Take care of yourselves. Bye!